Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today we are at my allotment. Not much, and at the same a little bit has changed since we have last had a video from the allotment. As you can see, there is a little bit of a cardboard situation going on the ground. This is because I am trying to basically cover the surface of the ground to suppress the weeds that started popping up, and also it's a way of building up on the ground to grow stuff, because right now we still have quite a lot of rain in here, but the ground has become rock hard, and it has become impossible to even put a shovel in the ground. As you can see, this is like rock hard situation. I don't think anything will be successfully growing in it directly. So what the plan is to just cover as much as I can with the cardboard. I did buy some soil to create beds on top, and I will try to plant in that. I'm not putting a pressure on myself to make use of the whole plot, at least this season, because I think it's a little bit too much to tackle. But you know, as much as I can, as much as the time will allow me, I will do it. I haven't been here for most of April, I think. Last time that I was here before was when I was doing that border alongside there, and it seems to be working quite all right with suppressing the weeds. There is a little bit of it popping up here and there, but at least not all over. To my surprise, the onions are doing quite all right. They've bulked up nicely, as you can see. Let me show you properly. So the onions are doing quite all right. In this bed, I've topped it up with another bag of compost, and I did sow the carrots and parsnip in it, but I've done it very recently, so we have to give it time. Another bed with onions. Onions are doing really, really well. And then this bed with garlic. The garlic, I'm not having like 100% hope for it to succeed, but some of it is still alive. I can see some verbena popping up in here for some reason. But yeah, sadly some of my pot plants have died, which is a big shame. Especially this one was rose campion that I've dug up from my garden with the hope of planting it here. Yeah, and pretty much all of the rest has died because April was very dry in here, but also very cold. But anyway, it is what it is. We are going to kind of work with what we have right now. So I brought some new boxes from a bike shop local to my town. I am going to put them apart, just like I did with the other ones, and yeah, we'll work with that. I have quite a lot of crops growing at home from seed that will need to be planted out here, because they were specifically sown with the thought of growing them in here at the allotment, because I have no space for that in my home garden. So yeah, I just have to get to work basically and do that. So yeah, that's a little update. I'm trying to remove the biggest chunks of the weeds, but it's just impossible to even dig them out. Oh, this one came out. Oh. This is basically the state of the ground right now. Oh. Okay. Okay. So technically, what I want to do with this area here is to cover this part of the plot, which is right at the end, like right at the edge of my plot in here. Cover that with the cardboard and put the horse poop on top of it, top it up with some fresh compost, and then to have this whole big patch for like the big crops. I have a big pumpkin, Big Max, which I think would be perfect for this place, because I'm guessing it will take a lot of space. I've never grown big pumpkins before because I never had the space for it. But yeah, this was initially in my head. This part of the plot was supposed to be for the potatoes, but because I didn't organize this soil before it went rock hard, right now there's no way that potatoes would grow in it. So I've planted my potatoes in my home garden this season, and this area I can use that for like the big crops that will grow on top of the ground, not in the ground. I think this will be a little bit easier to achieve. So the plan for today is basically to move that poop. Or shall I just spread it on top of the ground without worrying about suppressing the weeds in this area? I might just do that for this season because it seems like everything is a little bit overwhelming at this point with the hardiness of with how hard the ground is and with the weeds. And the ground here is also very uneven. So with it being rock hard, it's very difficult to work with anyway. So I might just do that. I might just spread the manure here, remove a little bit more of the weeds by hand, and use the cardboard on the other side. I think I might just do that. Yeah. I just want to have a walkable space around that bed with garlic. Jesus, everything is so dry. That was my mistake when I initially brought this in December and I didn't spread this apart evenly. I should have done it straight away. So the idea is I will not use cardboard on this ground underneath the horse manure, because if you look at the level of uneven. 'Unevenness on the ground, I figured that if I just lay the horse manure directly onto this ground, it should suppress some of the weeds at least, but it will even out the holes as well, because otherwise, even when I'm walking on it, when it's the soil is now so hard, it's very easy to twist my ankle on it, because if you look at it, these are obviously footprints of people who were walking on it when they were probably releasing the allotment, because there were people who were doing the landscaping here, and they've done it right before autumn. As you know, the allotments have been released in the autumn and it was very wet. As you can see on my the first vlogs about the allotments. So it was very muddy because it's a clay soil. All of this is clay, and now when it became dry, all of the hollows in it are like craters. So I figured that the horse manure directly on it, and I have so many bags of it still, I will just spread it on top of it directly and then layer it with regular compost on top and then plant in it. And we'll see what happens. And I will just lay the cardboard around the beds, like to create the paths, and eventually when I will get the wood chip that I'm still waiting for to be delivered here, like everyone else at the allotment, I will use the wood chip to layer it on top of the cardboard as paths, and that will eventually give me some structure. Until I have the wood chip, this will look the way it is, so a bit messy, but you know, you have to work with what you have if you don't want to spend gazillion of pounds on wood chip to buy, because it's extremely expensive here in UK. So yeah, I am going to tip the other bags of the horse manure on the other side of this path, so that will give me a very long border for the bigger crops. So right now we have this big border layered with horse manure. I think this is a very good size for big crops. And I think I'm going to use these boxes to cover this area here, and then I can create beds in this kind of square to start with, like smaller beds. And I'm thinking about using this side border of a shed. It's basically one piece of a shed structure that when it was delivered for this specific shed, it was damaged in delivery, like the very corner somewhere. I think it's where the white bag is. It got chipped slightly during the delivery, and they brought me a new replacement piece. But they didn't take that one, the broken one, back. So what I want to do is I want to take it apart and use those little pieces of wood to create raised beds, or at least edges of beds, for this part here. And I will layer it with the horse manure and compost on top, and those will be my beds for this part of the allotment. And later on I can think how to use this middle ground basically, but at least some of it is already secured with cardboard, and every now and then I can bring another batch of the big cardboard pieces and cover the remaining part of the ground, so the weeds do not take over the space. So yeah, I will probably not do this today. I will just finish the cardboard, I think, just so that I have used all of it, and I'll think what to do next. Right, so after using all of the cardboard that I had today, I know it looks a bit messy right now, but if you can see a bigger picture, if you can see the beds created all over and then wood chip in between, so it will pretty much look, well, the idea is that it will look as that part in here versus the beds, the raised beds. So I have this bit from that side all the way to this edge covered in the cardboard so that the weeds are covered basically, and the remaining bit is this side, this kind of L shape bit. But right now I have quite a bit of space prepared to create the beds all over here and along this side as well for my crops. And I think this bed here that I've made with the horse manure is going to be a big useful patch as well. I think I can, because I don't think I've done it evenly, I think I can spread it even a little bit more on that side. So I might just do it before I go. This is obviously something that will imitate the path alongside this left side of this bed to access it. So yeah, I think I can probably spread one more bag of manure along this left side to even it out. Although my allotment plot is quite wonky in the design of it, so it doesn't have to be very straight anyway. But yeah, I think it's coming along. If you can imagine through the mess, the end result. And obviously at some point I will build the compost heap in here from the pallets that I have, and the rest of them are along that side as well, because I still didn't have the time to really create those compost heaps, so I didn't move them from the winter time when they served me as a path. But yeah, I think it's coming along. And the very dramatic sky. So yeah, I'm gonna take one bag and just spread it in that bed so that it's more even, more squarish. Well, not squarish, but yeah. And I think that's going to be it for today.